Hello, folks. It is Tuesday morning, the 10th. Big debate tonight. Yes, I'll be watching. Should be very interesting. Cheers, people. Got on my old normal. Well, I've had this forever. Remember normal? Yeah. So, wildfires in California again. Man, people. What can you do? So let's just jump into it. I'm just going to show you some of the music that I listened to yesterday. I was in the studio yesterday. I'm back. I'm back to work, and not starting anything new, but looking to try and complete some arrangements of some of the more recent things that I've done. Because as I was playing stuff for Cafele, I could hear where, okay, so this is the template. I put together a picture of what this idea is like, but almost all of them can be extended, and it's kind of nice taking some time off from the work. Other parts are starting to appear. It's like I'm good with coming up with two parts, one and then two. I'm real happy when I come up with three things, one, two, three, like a bridge, verse, chorus, whatever, a middle section. I have some things that have more chord changes, but my music is actually rather simple because I'm just going from what's inside. I don't know music theory. I really don't know how to read music. And so I know that, I'm good at getting the idea listenable, taking it to the next step, which is where songwriting, writing music, writing lyrics, writing poetry, writing books can take a long time when you want to see it develop. Some people who have rich knowledge in chords and stuff can, they know. I have to, it has to appear to me. So, besides that, I listened to just a little bit of music and watched a couple documentaries. So, I'll start with this CD. I listened to most of this yesterday, kind of thinking about my channel, thinking about the conversation about mainstream music versus just music. Here is a mainstream artist, Chaka Khan. Everybody should know who she is. The band Rufus, right? They started out as the American Breed, Bend Me, Shape Me. That's who Rufus was originally. The Woman I Am I've had this for a long time, got it as a promo. And I like most of this really well. I particularly like the funk on here, but Chaka's voice is not to be denied. The woman is a force of nature. The power and control that she has of her expression is really remarkable. But here's where it loses me, where I am totally admitting nerdiness. I do not relate to these words about so-called relationships. You're my everything, and I'm so happy that you're here now. And then the other songs about where I smelled the perfume when you came in last night and you said you was with the boys. And that is some really mundane bullshit, even though she's talking about what people go through all the time, which has a lot to do with why I'm like I am. It's like, I'm not interested in that shit. I'd rather not be bothered. Period. So listening to songs about love and relationships, I ain't into it. But I listened to that and really enjoyed the arrangements. Really enjoyed it when she would just naturally just go off and just to start, just testifying is how you can put it. She gives it everything she's got, and there's no strain. That's what's so cool about Chaka Khan is you can tell there's no strain. She's just got big pipes, as they say. really enjoyed it for the most part. Pulled this and played this, just some stuff. It was like close to Chaka Khan. Guy Chadwick. I know that Chaka Khan is Khan, but I found her in the seas out there. Oops. The lead guy from the House of Love. Interesting cat to me. This is from a solo album he made. 3 songs, This Strength. He even goes a little bit country on one of the songs. But I like his voice, and I like the way he writes. I like his chord changes. He does a lot of, the main 3 or 4 chords that we all use, and yet finds ways to keep it interesting. I've said before, I saw Catherine Wheel live, along with Catherine Wheel up in Minneapolis. Got to meet Guy Chadwick afterwards and just spent a few minutes with him and picked up on his loony energy and liked it. I like him. I sure do. I do like to read. And I've actually started to read some of the poems in this book. This is verbal fire. We need more Mother. I know there's other writers, poets, speakers who are out there trying to continue to inform people about the reality of the legacy of this country, the racism and the hate and the bloodshed, and this is focused on music, but it's in there as well because of the struggle, and how also so much black culture and brown people culture has been appropriated unfairly by the white people who have the money and the control. Where is it right now? Is it somewhere in Germany where they're trying to get the museums to give back to the original countries artifacts that are in museums that were stolen? I mean, they were stolen, taken at a time in history when, see, I could go on. Let me stop. I really appreciate More Mother as an artist and as a person very much. I appreciate your comments too. So, I'll speak about a couple of documentaries I've watched recently, and then if I remember and feel like it, I'll do another poll, because that's been fun. And to speak of the polls, I did play some of those polls yesterday that led to some other stuff, which I hope is still sitting out. The Bertoia Sonambient series, those albums are excellent, and I just fall into them, and it just happens, and you can just tell they're just manipulating the sculpture. It sounds wonderful, so I enjoyed that. But I watched a documentary about violinist Billy Bang, and is happy to say that I, not too long ago, found one of his records as a leader. Billy Bang Quintet, Rainbow Gladiator. What I was glad to see, and that's what I look for, is stuff about, again, not your usual, although I will watch documentaries about usual. I've watched most of the Led Zeppelin and documentaries and the Fleetwood Mac documentaries. I've watched most of them. Just for example, Billy Bang is no longer with us, but he was again a person who, it was about the music, and it was about, he just wanted to play, and I have him on several other releases. It was good to watch the documentary because I've never seen him play, and they have footage of him playing. It's really cool to see how he plays with his whole body, and when he goes through different feelings and 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 dips in and rises in the playing, it's reflected in his whole body. It was like, wow, this is what an amazing musician. Now I have this out, haven't played it yet, but I already know it's good. And if I see here, he's got Michelle Rosewoman on piano. That's a pianist. There she is. That I highly recommend you find out about. We hear about Jerry Allen as far as women jazz musicians. You hear about Jerry Allen and Esperanza Spalding and folks like that. But Michelle Rosewoman deserves to be in that queue. You should know about her. Billy Bang. I watched 2 documentaries on Black Sabbath. I love Black Sabbath. I really do. And still remember the first time I ever heard Black Sabbath on the radio. Yes, it was kind of scary. Tells you a lot. Killer. Seen him twice, once with Ozzy and once with Dio. So I was watching the documentary on the making of Master of Reality. This is my second copy. I had it when it came out, bought it when it came out. Saved up my money. I think I was working at the time, 1971. I think I was. And no longer have it because I played it to death. Probably got rid of the poster right away, which is worth money now. I remember how the cough at the beginning when I first heard this album first time, I remember it. It was like, wow, what the hell is going on here? And I loved it. I still love it. This is Beat. I don't have a special edition and all that. They were also talking about how there's over 200 something versions of the cover alone of this album in the world. There's other records like that. What I got into last night after listening to the documentary discuss behind stuff about the making of the record, Solitude going into the Void. Into the Void is indeed. I remember back then, I didn't, this was the introduction to drop tuning, and I remember when I tried to learn these songs at first, it was like, wait, what's going here? I didn't realize that they had dropped the tuning, and so that kind of flummoxed me regarding trying to learn these songs at first. This is a classic rock album. It truly is. So I listened to the Michael White. There's a beautiful track at the ending of one of the sides. I didn't look. Praise the Innocence is probably what it is. It's because he has a bunch of little tykes, little tots, singing along with him. Very, very touching and human and humane, sending a message of what this music hopefully can do for the world, which is send the message of love and unity and care. That was touching for Michael White. I did a poll. Yes, I just pulled. I was over there and I said I just need to see what comes up. And this came up. Japanese jazz pianist Masahiko Sato with Peter Warren and Pierre Favre. Trinity. This is improvisation on a high level. This is fantastic. This was recorded in 1971. I posted it online, and my comment was something about the interplay, excellent interplay, and that's it. They're not only listening to each other, but they're interacting. It's not like one person does something and the other one responds. It's like they're listening and moving together It's a conversation in action. There's some improvisation where you hear call and response, rise and fall, depending on who does what. Some of the most compelling improvisation is when people lock in. Some of the interplay on Coltrane records, for example. Albert Ayler comes to mind. Spiritual Unity, that is monumental interplay. This is something excellent. Now, what's interesting to me is I noticed that some of Sato's phrasing at times reminded me of Chick Corea. It's sort of this dancing, leaping sort of thing that going it's a thing that Korea has done over and over on different recordings. And it pops up here. Doesn't sound imitation though. This is really good. Very good. Also, I've seen Peter Warren, the bass player. I saw him live. He was with Jack DeJohnette. When I saw Jack DeJohnette, he was the bass player. Got to meet him. Cheers again, people. So another CD that got played yesterday, as I was actually doing some reorganizing, when I went into my folders to play stuff for Kafele, I found a little bit of a mess with some, where I tried to, I've been trying to be more organized. So while I was organizing some stems, I was listening to this. Back to Mine, The Orb. This came with a magazine. A personal collection of after-hours grooving. So it's different artists. Electronic. Most of this was real good. Some of it was like real shit. But it was interesting how right in the middle of all this electronic stuff by Aphex Twin, Juno Reactor, Thomas Feldman, I like him. All of a sudden in the middle here's Have You Seen Her by the Shylights. It was interesting. It's almost like a palate cleanser, almost like we're out in space, and here it brings us back down to Earth. It really worked as a program. Really enjoyed it. I like that music. Don't get me wrong. Classic soul is the music I grew up on. I have a lot of those singles. And The Orb, Julie Cruz, FFWD, Ford, Schneider TM. That was enjoyable. Okay. That is all. So thank you again for comments. Let me see if there's anything that prompts me to say anything. Thank you. Yes, Comsat Angels were fantastic. Oh, yes. Someone made a comment here about Mike Knowles. I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about his... he always looked at odds with what he was saying. Almost like he had Tourette's or some other kind of neurodivergence. I think that's spot on. When I think about the videos I have of him live playing, and you see it, it's like, you didn't think about that. Yeah, he does look great band if you don't know the Comsat Angels, all right? Yeah, Sean, boy, that factory sampler, it's worth a lot. It is. And I had that 10-inch too with Warsaw on it. Dang, you know. So, instead of going down to where I thought was below the residents, we'll go up above where the residents are. And I'll try to avoid the radio head because I know that that's in that area. Let's see what we get. Okay. So here is one of the records that was sent to me that was my introduction to for practically everyone, the label out of Chicago, FPE Records, that released my album Future Still. I also see where that got some sales on Bandcamp. Those records don't come through me. It's posted on my Bandcamp site in conjunction with the label. So people are buying that still. Cool. But this is on that label, Quanqua, FPE Records. This is some cool stuff. Quanqua is an experiment in translation. Their own language is what they say about this, okay? So, multi-ethnic. They're playing an instrument called the krar, and the cabero. Electric krar, electric bass krar, cabero percussion, and 5-string violin are the instruments. This is good. Haven't played it in a while. I'll play it today. This is good. As you can see, what you can expect is a sound that is blending some African traditions, some African rhythms. Quanqua. To be honest, I haven't kept everything that FPE has sent me because there's been some stuff that they put out where it's like I don't get it. But I also applaud them for having the bravery to put stuff out that is not immediately accessible. Like they have this one CD, I do still have it, where it's a musician, and they recorded the person practicing like the koto drum or something, but there's minutes where it's just one beat, nothing else. After a while I said, I don't know why I'm listening to this. That's just an example. Quanqua, that's one of the things that came up in my pull. Set it here, I will play that. What was stuck to it? Quintessence. Now that makes me want to grab the other one because it has a cool cover. Will that? Okay, let me just be quiet and finish with this. Based out of the UK, if I'm not mistaken, back in the hippie days, these guys were influenced by Krishna consciousness, and that's what's going on this album. And you see it in the little poem on the back, Wonders of the Universe. And some of this is okay. They're trying to be this certain thing, and so it's dated, but this is again a keeper. Now I want to see. Yes, I want to show this because I finally found a copy of this through Homer's Used not that long ago. I remember the first time I saw this as a kid in the record store. This is back when imports, when they came in, it was the beginning of imports coming into record stores in my area, early 70s. So they wouldn't be shrunk wrapped. So you could just pull them out of the plastic and look at them. And this intrigued me, the design. I ended up with several records out of this woman's collection through Homer's, Rhoda. She's probably passed away. I bet I would have liked her. But in the store as a kid, I could see that it opened up like this, and I just had to take it out of the plastic to see. And look at that beautiful design. Lovely. Now, since then, the way that it was designed to get the record out is not record friendly, because you have to open the flap and then pull it through the flap, so I've only played this a few times to preserve the cover and the record, because you can easily trash the cover or the record playing it too much, pulling it in and out. I could store the album outside of the cover, like a lot of real high-end collectors do, I wouldn't have it would double the space I would need if I were to collect all of these records outside of the covers. Some of them are, but this is one where it's like I just don't play it. But isn't that a beautiful cover? I love good graphics, I sure do. All right, let's go down here. It's been a while. Don't look, Dereck. Don't look. I'm not looking. Let me see. Okay, here's two more that are stuck together. What did we get? What did we get? Oh, I didn't even look closely. So I have these, and then there's on the side some spillovers, 12-inch singles that are not in alphabetical order. So here's a Killing Joke Adorations. We just lost the guitarist, Jordy was his name. What a sound that man got on his guitar. Like this band, Adorations. And then this, don't know anything about this, but this is very good. Add on. You know, techno and club music, a lot of it is nondescript, and it's one person with all kinds of monikers. So I don't know who this is. Frankie Vega, True Sonic, Dietrich Schoenemann, Oliver Good. So, and then Tony Rohr and Dietrich Schoenemann. Those names don't ring a bell at all, but this is one that I've kept, and I've played this a lot. This is real good. Add on. Anybody else have this? I know these people. Yeah. That was I didn't look and ended up not even in the crates. So let me go back. Let me put these back on the side and try to get something out of the crate. Okay, I'm not looking. What do we get? What are we getting? What's coming up? Okay, let's see what we got. Hope everyone has a good day today. I am concerned about the wildfires. Nothing I can do, but oh boy, see, you never know what you're going to get here. So here is something that is meant to be offensive. It's The Show is the Rainbow. Tickled Pink is the album, and there's the cover, and it's got the pink over it. I'll show the back. It's a drawing, but it's gross. It's gross. Darren Keene, Shows the Rainbow. Nebraskan. A friend. He's very talented. He's a handful as a human being, though. He's a real character. And we've tried to work together. I've tried to start a band with this guy. And it's like, when you're working with Darren, you basically have to do things his way. I'm the same way. I want certain things. So this is what came up, and I've kept this. This is a mishmash. He uses electronics, but he can play to a high degree. I mean, like, he can play jazz and fusion, and so you hear that in his work. But again, he's a provocateur. Yeah, he's a provocateur. So that came up. Next to it, the show is my Wayne Shorter section, apparently. So this is what came up. Mato Grosso Feo. This is real good. With Chick Corea, John McLaughlin, the Cats. You know. And what I like about Wayne Shorter is that he did several jazz dates where they're fairly standard. Head, solos, head, out. But he's done a lot of stuff like this. where the compositions are not so straight ahead, not so necessarily Western oriented. Really, really good. Met Wayne Shorter. Shit, yeah. It was real brief, but I got to greet him and exchange a friendly hello with him. The first time I saw Weather Report, I've seen Weather Report 3 times. First time I saw the Weather Report was the original Weather Report, and they were the opening band for Buddy Miles Express. How about that? I love Buddy, but Weather Report kicked the shit out of those guys as far as, I mean, it was just like there's no comparison, you know? Okay, let's keep going, even though it's a half hour. I usually stop, but it's like, this is kind of fun. It is. Let's go over here. Above, let's see what we get. I kind of know. Let's see, what are we going to get here? Oh, okay. Very good, very good, very good. David Prescott, Walking in Slow Circles. Private Press. Haven't played this in a long time, so I will be at pains to try to describe this. I want to open it and see if the information gives me an indication of what to say. Let's see here. Prescott. Oh my goodness. Minoy. So that's a character. It's actually signed by him. Another piece of art. So it was recorded in 1987. Minoy. That's a person that of note. Okay, so this is looking like it's mostly synthesizers. I'm gonna have to play this. I don't remember what it sounds like. This is an example of where I was saying to Kafele, and people have asked me recently, do you know everything that you have? I don't. I knew that I had this, but I can't remember what it sounds like. This is part of my fun, though. It sure is. Okay, it's another one. Hopefully, I'll get to it today. Came up next? What's next to it? Preoccupations. Band that I got turned on to. They're not shoegaze. They're just good. Indie doesn't fit anymore. There was a time when the word indie made sense in the 80s to try to describe bands. This it's just good, and it has a bit of a angsty feeling to me, like we have to make this music. I like that. Preoccupations. And what's next? It's obviously right next to the end of my Premiata Preoccupations. See, I try to be alphabetical. PFM, Premiata Forneria Marconi. Passepartout. My copy of this is unfortunately kind of beat. I found it used and it skips in places. But this is not one of their better albums, although their musicianship does shine through on this in parts. But it seems a little confused to me. Like, are they going to become a pop band, or are they going to stay true to their roots? I've played this several times, and it's like, yeah, this is not one of their better albums. PFM, though, another band that you ought to know about if you don't. When Emerson, Lake and Palmer got their label deal with Atlantic Manticore, PFM was one of the first acts that they signed and released in the U.S. And that is a fantastic album. I'll just talk about it since it's worth talking about. Yes. Here we go. Photos of Ghosts. This, to me, is a quintessential progressive rock album. when you think of bands like Genesis and Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, PFM is right in there for me. This album is ideal. I also have the original Italian version before they gave it this cover and this sequencing. I've had my original US version of this is trashed. I had kept it for a long time, and then it was really trashed. I just partied it to death. So I have this version, which is a UK version. Let me see. Let me just have fun with this. Oh my goodness! See, yeah. These are right. Yeah. No, this is the Italian version with the updated cover, but it's on Lucio Battisti's label Numero Uno. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone from Italy. Numero Uno, was that a big label? Big successful label in Italy? Sounds like it was. And this one is on the Manticore label out of the UK. Like I said, my original copy was a US version. This is a UK Manticore. Fantastic album. So yeah, I have the this is the English lyrics version, and over there with the original cover, I have the Italian spoken version. So that's what I have today. I need to stop. I could just go on. I could talk and talk and talk. And see, this is another reason why I also know about my nature. Like, for example, when I visit with people, after a little while, my cup is full and I'm ready for them to leave. So I really had to, like, for example, with Tefele, we had a great time. But after a couple hours, it's like, all right, okay. It's time to stop visiting. And I call it refocus. It's time. I'm change gears. That's how I say, oh yeah, I'm about to change gears now. Basically what it is I had enough visiting and now I need to be alone. So I don't know exactly what I was saying about that, but it's kind of like with the videos. It's like, that's why they're, it's like I could go on and on and on and on and on and on, but I don't, you know what I mean? Okay, I'll be thinking, okay, that's enough. This is a long one. Okay, that's enough. Take care. Let me know what you're thinking.